Hey everyone, this is Christopher Luxon, the former CEO of Air New Zealand.
This is John Lee Dumas, the founder and host of Entrepreneurs on Fire.
This is Tracy Ibarra. I'm in Executive Solutions at Dell Technologies.
This is Travis Chappell, founder of Build Your Network. If you are wanting to learn how to embrace change,
To navigate through disruption as a leader,
Then listen to the Leadership is Changing podcast.
The Leadership is Changing podcast.
the Leadership is Changing podcast with my good friend,
my very good friend, Denis Gianoutsos.
Welcome to Leadership is Changing. Each week, we and our guests provide information and insights through exploring leading change. This is taking your leadership to another level by finding the balance between executive excellence and personal well-being through stories that inspire real change. It's time to adapt in our fast-moving world when leadership is changing with your host, Denis Gianoutsos.
Hey, welcome to the show, Leadership is Changing. What we as leaders know to be true is that change is constant. Leaders everywhere confront similar obstacles because people are people, but everywhere you go, leaders are overwhelmed, disrupted, and under pressure. They run from email to email, meeting to meeting. Many leaders are not changing quick enough, which means they run the risk of becoming irrelevant and being left behind. The purpose of the show is taking our listeners' leadership to another level by finding their balance between executive excellence and personal well-being through stories that inspire real change. I believe we don't have enough effective leaders in the world today, and if we get the leaders to step up and lead change, then they can inspire real change. Hey listeners, it's now time to adapt in our fast-moving world, and I want to welcome you to the Ask Denis episode, which is a freestyle episode that happens once a week. I'm asked a question by our listeners, or I share my thoughts, insights, and experiences from working with many leaders around the globe. Hey listeners, if you haven't already checked out the Facebook group Leadership is Changing, then go ahead and do that, or the LinkedIn page Leadership is Changing. We would love to see you there in those communities. Okay, so today I want to talk to you about a few things, but before I go there, this week we've released two mashups, episode 152 and 153, which is some interesting guests that I have in those two different mashups. What a mashup is that I'm taking the clips of different episodes that have happened in the past, and in particular, it's around the question, leadership is changing, what does that mean to you? So it's been great to see that where we shared those different episodes and some fantastic guests for you to check out. So if you haven't already checked out those mashups, go ahead and do that. That'd be great. Well, this week, we saw the month of June come into play. That's right, the 6th month of the year is underway. It's amazing how fast this year has gone. In this part of the world, it's the beginning of winter, and in the Northern Hemisphere, it's the beginning of summer. So seasons change, and as seasons change, people go through different things in their businesses and in their lives and so forth. Many parts of the world are still in lockdown, or they've gone into lockdown again. But the question I've got for all of you, it doesn't matter where you are in this part in the world, how are your goals for the year coming along? What are your biggest wins so far this year? And what have been your insights, learnings, or observations that you've had throughout this year so far? You see, very soon, just in a few weeks' time, we're going to be going, wow, half a year has gone. And I'm approached all the time by people saying to me that they're wanting to do something else in their life. Now, that's whether that's going to go and start a business or go into a new kind of role, a different organization. There's all sorts of things that they want to do in their life. And I always say to them, hey, that's great, but what do you want to do? And then there is this sound of crickets, silence, no answer. They don't know what they want to do. It's quite interesting how they talk about they want to do something else in life, but they're not really clear on what they want to do. Well, I actually think they do know what they want to do, but then they start to self-reason with themselves or self-doubt what they wanted to do. And sometimes it's fear that gets in the way, and sometimes they're unsure on exactly how it's going to happen or how they're going to put it in place. Sometimes they lack confidence. And for others, you know what? They just don't want to make the wrong choice. So then they make no decision, they make no choice, and they don't move on at all. the best thing they can do is get clarity on where they want to go. The best thing that they can work through is, once they have clarity, is a plan on what they need to do to bring it to life. Then I say this to them: hey, whatever you're wanting to do, be bold. That's right, be bold. Have the courage to go out and do the one thing that you want to go and do. Some might think that you're crazy. Just know this: you need to do what's right for you. You need to go and do what you have been wanting to do for quite a while, but haven't actually had the courage or the confidence to do it. Make that decision, get clarity around what you want, and go for it. And be bold with it, which is excellent. Talking about excellence, I've actually just been to a couple of events this past week where there's been excellence awards. It was wonderful to go to these different functions. What's really awesome is to see people reach their goals or do very well in their field. The high performers, or they're becoming high performers, they're becoming world-class in their industry. So team, whatever you want to do, those who become excellent in what they do and they go for excellence are the ones who are bold. They're the ones who have made the decision to go off and do things. Is it clear for them right at the beginning? No. Do they know exactly how they're going to put it in place? No. It's very scary for them. But this is the beautiful thing about them, is that they will actually go ahead and step ahead in faith, in knowing that something will happen. I always say to people this: there are 3 things that you need to do to get yourself into a position to start to really do well in whatever you're wanting to do. Number 1, get clarity. Brainstorm with yourself. Think about where you want to go. But I tell you what, think big. Don't limit your thinking, because it's really amazing where you could actually go and what you can be doing in 12 months from now. Number 2, be committed. Commit to what you're going to do, and then hold yourself accountable to that. If you can't hold yourself accountable, get yourself an accountability partner, or get yourself a coach, someone who's going to hold you accountable to those things that you're committing to doing. Number 3, as I said earlier on, is be bold. Go big. I mean, why not? If you're going to go out and do it, if you're going to go out and then put things out, your neck out on the line, if you're going to go out there and do some things, why not do it big? Do something that's going to make impact, have some positive impact for you and for others, something that's going to be part of your purpose in life, something that's going to add value to society, to your community, to business, to others. If you need help in any way in working through some of these things that I've shared with you today, then feel free to reach out to me anytime. I'm more than happy to have a chat with you and talk about how I can work with you or help you moving forward. Team, it is time for you to put your foot on the accelerator. It is the beginning of the 6th month of the year. Now is the time that you need to put the foot on the accelerator. Now is where you set up the remaining year for success. It starts now. Put your foot on the accelerator. Go for it. Be bold. Get clear on what you're wanting to do. Get committed. And as I said, be bold in what you're wanting to do. Team, it's really awesome that you can go forward and you can go ahead and do things. We're nearing the 1-year anniversary for this podcast. I went big. I went bold, and I had the courage to go ahead and do it. Where will you be in the next 6 months or 12 months from now? What do you want? Go ahead, put the foot on the accelerator, and go for what you want. Hey listeners, what we as leaders know to be true is that change is constant. Change is incredibly scary, especially with the unknown and the unfamiliar territory. It's time to adapt in our fast-moving world when leadership is changing. Hey, look out for the episodes as they're being released. Download them, have a listen, put a review, a rating, and share them with your friends, your family, your network. Hey, if there's any feedback you'd like to give me about the show, or if there's a question you have for my guests as I interview them, or you have a question for the Ask Dennis Freestyle episode, then send me an email, dennis@leadingchangepartners.com. Hey, thanks for tuning in today. It's always great to be with you. Until next time, bye for now.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Leadership is Changing with your host, Denis Gianoutsos. Each week, we and our guests provide information and insights through exploring leading change, inspiring executives and leaders to adapt and lead a bigger game in a fast-moving world.